We travel not to escape life, but for life not to escape us. Hello and welcome. We are the Rotaract Club of University of Kelaniya and this is EKHOS of Ceylon. Today here we are at the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotions Bureau in Colombo, and joining us for today's discussion is Mr. Dushan Wickramasuriya, Director Marketing, Sri Lanka Tourism Promotions Bureau. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Wickramasuriya.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We will start today's discussion with a small introduction to the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotions Bureau and its role in shaping Sri Lanka's tourism industry.
Yeah, Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau is the apex body which promotes the destination globally, and we come under the purview of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Tourism, and we actually there are four areas within the tourism family. One is the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, which is the regulator of the tourism industry. Then the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, which is the communication arm of Sri Lanka Tourism. And then there's the Convention Bureau, which handles all the conventions. And then, of course, the Hotel School, which trains all the upcoming graduates or people for the tourism industry. So we work like a big family. So we work in collaboration with everybody, all the four institutions, and also with the private sector, because tourism is a private sector driven industry. So we work very closely with all the associations in the tourism industry, and also whoever other stakeholders involved in related to the tourism industry. And the Promotion Bureau itself works with all the missions, Sri Lankan missions overseas, because we need to work together to promote the destination. So we work with the local industry, the tourism stakeholders. We work with the missions overseas, Sri Lankan missions overseas, and also we work with global tour operators, media, to promote the destination. So that's in a nutshell, where tourism, Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau stands, and how the other associations, other divisions, and linked to Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau.
Right. So last year, Sri Lanka made a magnificent achievement with 2 million tourist arrivals, a landmark moment in its journey. So how does the Tourism Promotions Bureau see this achievement? Is it a well-earned victory, or is it an opportunity to discover?
Just to correct the figure, it's 2 million plus 53,000. I would not say it as a victory, because we need to do a bit more. I mean, it's an opportunity, because 2-3 years, or probably 2 years ago, we had zero tourists coming to Sri Lanka because of the issues we went through. We had the Easter Sunday incident. Then we had the pandemic. Then there was economic turmoil, coupled with political issues. So at that time, no tourists would look for Sri Lanka, to spend the holiday. So we have come a long way from there. So achieving 2 million was actually, in that sense, it was an achievement, because yet we did not surpass the rival figures of 2018, which was 2.3 million. Yet, with so many issues, we managed to hit a rival figure of 2 million, or just over 2 million. So in that sense, it's an achievement, but it's an opportunity, and we need to do a lot more. And so that's what Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion is doing in collaboration with all. We work with. So how we started the journey was initially we looked at low-hanging fruits, and in that context, India was our closest neighbor, and also India has quite a affluent traveler base, from mid-income to high income. And so our target was to capture that market initially, so that because the hotel rooms are empty, and it was so vital for us to re-energize the industry, because uh, we are a resilient nation. Tourism industry is a resilient industry, and we have always had negative things, and we have come up well to achieve certain standards and levels. So we initially started with road shows in India. Road shows are where we take tour operators, hoteliers from Sri Lanka, and we arrange B2B sessions, B2B meetings with their counterparts, and that worked out really well. So we did in some of the major cities. The whole purpose is to inform that Sri Lanka is safe, and Sri Lanka is open for tourists. And at the same time, we were of the view that seeing is believing. So you have to see to believe. And I mean, there's no point running really lovely advertisements or in glossy magazines, because it'll be just an advert. But whereas word of mouth, or someone saying Sri Lanka is good, a place to be, is more important. So while we are doing road shows, we also targeted media and bloggers and influencers. So we hosted quite a lot of mainframe media, and also influencers. So that was, I think, the starting point, and that helped a lot. Then also we looked at Russia at that time. And still we're looking at Russia, because of the issues there, Russians wanted to go out, and we had direct connectivity as well. By the way, for India we had very good connectivity. Sri Lankan Airlines was also focused on India, and we had at one stage, or still we have, about 53 flights per day, between the two destinations. And because there are a number of airlines, Sri Lankan Airlines and a number of Indian airlines. So and then Russia was another important market that we had charter operations from Russia to Sri Lanka. So we saw that upward trend in tourist arrivals from Russia, in addition to India. Then UK was also a good market, because it's a traditional market, and the travelers from Europe, particularly from UK, was aware of the situation in Sri Lanka. They've gone through, with the industry. They have known how Sri Lanka was in the past and how it is now. The continuation of that. But the message had to be clear. Message has to be a true message. Because we are in the industry, we don't sell brick and mortar. We sell to the minds of individuals. When I say sell, it's not the right word. It's not selling per se, but we have to change the mindset of people, and that is
perception.
Yeah, the perception, and that was the key. So our I think our what we did was worked well for us. Going for the low-hanging fruits first, then media from all over the world. Bring media to Sri Lanka, and then UK has always been one of the key markets, traditional markets from Europe, and we've seen upward trend in tourist arrivals from UK, and also Germany and France. We've seen that upward trend, and also Australia was also good at that time, because there's a lot of diaspora in these countries, and they have been promoting. We have been in touch with them, giving them the true picture of Sri Lanka, so they are also promoting the country. So that's how we have achieved these figures. And at the same time, social media has worked well. So we were very active on social media in most of the markets. So that's the journey we have undertaken from an international perspective. All the promotions, and in addition to that, one other thing is we also we have arranged platforms for the industry to go and promote the destination by way of arranging travel fairs, international global travel fairs. So we have arranged industry participation at some of the major travel fairs like WTM, World Travel in London, ITB, which is in Berlin, then ATM, Arabian Travel Mart in Dubai. So these are all very popular places, and this is also where a lot of global tour operators and media attend. So we managed to connect with them. We have had press conferences in those major events. So our message is very clear that come back, come back to Sri Lanka, and if you come back once, you'll come back for more. Or if you haven't come back, if you haven't come to Sri Lanka, you should come to Sri Lanka, and if you come, then you will come back for more. That's the sort of promotional line we used.
Absolutely. And amidst these tremendous achievements, Sri Lanka sets an ambitious target of attracting 3 million tourists this year, with the Sri Lankan government projecting $5 billion in tourism revenue.
Correct.
So, how does the Sri Lankan Tourism Promotions Bureau plan on achieving these targets? We talked about fairs, tourist fairs, and are those tactics still in progress? What are the new initiatives?
Well, those are in progress. This is those things have to happen, but that's not the only thing. Right? Traditionally, those have been ongoing, and the industry wants to involve in those because that's where you have to be seen, and you have to be in those platforms to attract the B2B, the business segment. Of course, going forward, you're right. It's a 3 million target. It's not a big number, but in comparison to where we were, we have achieved only 2 million, so it is another 1 million for this year. So that's a big ask, and we are working towards that. And on top of that, 5 million revenue. So these are all targets we need to achieve to be where we should be in terms of the industry progression. Having said that, the focus now is moving away from this traditional itinerary for the industry, for the operators. It's generally we have standard itineraries for international tourists, but we are focusing a lot on new products. New product development is important. In that context, Pico Trail is something new. I don't know whether you have heard of Pico Trail. Just for the benefit of the people who are listening, it's a 300-kilometer trail going through different terrains, different tea estates, starting from Kandy and going all the way to Norelia, and a tourist could do the trail in different stages. You don't have to walk or hike the 300 kilometers in one go. You can do 10 kilometers, and you can come back later on in your next trip and do the rest. And so while you do the other, going to other tourist attractions in Sri Lanka, you can make that 1 or 2 days allocate for that. So enjoying the beauty of Sri Lanka, and that was very popular. And last year, in 2023 November, British BGTW, British Guild Travellers, they picked Sri Lanka, this Pico Trail as one of the top projects to be promoted, and they identified that the journalists BGTW, that's where there are over 300 or so, up to about 500, I think, journalists, photographers, influencers are registered, and it's an association. So in the UK, so for them to pick Sri Lanka as one of the, pick this particular project as one of the top in the world is a great achievement. So we are looking at new products like that. Of course, the Buddhist trail, it's even though Sri Lanka is a Buddhist country, the trail has not been developed to the point that we want it to be developed. So there's a lot of focus on that, and then promoting Sri Lanka as an ideal wedding destination. So that's another new new initiative. No, it's not a new initiative. It's re-energizing this initiative, because we have now seen a lot of Indian weddings taking in Sri Lanka. So when the high-end Indians, when they organize weddings, so they book the entire hotel for a week, and they have weddings. They have the ceremonies run for 3-4 days, and they bring their own chef, and they bring their own makeup artist, and at the same time they source locally also. So that is good for the industry, good for the associated industries. So that's another area. Then we want to focus a lot or promote Sri Lanka as an ideal destination for films. So film tourism is another area. I mean, it's a I don't know whether probably you were not born even when the movie Bridge on the River Kwai, which won so many awards, Oscar awards in 1950s, and since then we have not had such an achievement in the industry in Sri Lanka, in the film industry. So we are promoting that actively in the Indian market, and we are talking to Film Corporation to have incentives for the people the producers who come in. And in the past, we have hosted international directors, producers, film producers to promote the destination. So that's a different type of promotion. You don't promote the tourist attractions per se, but you promote the attractions for weddings. For films. So it's a different attraction you need to promote. So when you're looking at tourist attractions in your project, make sure that you look at areas for film tourism as well. It's not Sigiriya, but it's something. Sigiriya can be included, but then something for to promote the destination, the iconic places, locations for films. So these are the new things, and of course social media. You can't ignore social media. So we're going to come up with a global campaign, and then actively promote on our social media, on all the social media platforms, to say so Sri Lanka is a great place to holiday. And we have already achieved some of the accolades you may have seen. Wanderlust picked Sri Lanka as one of the top destinations, and also we've seen some of the new accolades coming through. So I think we're doing things right, and of course from a hierarchical point of view, we're looking at maybe we can have a different structure, where we have the speed to market is very important in this industry. So we can't go with a process where action comes or the activity gets approved after a couple of weeks or after a couple of months. We can't wait for that long. So we're looking at changes to certain processes so that we can act very quickly. And we're trying to work with the schools, international schools, universities, overseas. How we can get the young people involved, like yourself. What you're doing is great. And lesser known attractions. These are the things we need to promote now. And there are, if you talk to some of the relevant people, you'll see there are almost 1,000 or 2,500 lesser known attractions that have been identified by Sri Lanka Tourism. So some of them are attractive, but the transportation, getting there has not been developed. Some of them, can be easily promoted. And then things like Ramayana Trail, which is very popular amongst the Indian travelers. And some of the Ramayana Trail, some of the sites, you can't access. So if you want to do a Ramayana Trail, and if you like hiking, then you can attract those places. So Sri Lanka is blessed with everything, and we have not capitalized fully. And one of the reasons is, I think, is the issues we've had. Some issue happens, and then we take a step back. So hopefully now there's a lot of stability, and we will continue. And that 3 million, if you do things right, if we have a safe environment for tourists to come, because tourists are not worried about who the politicians are or who is or what the government strategy is. They're not interested. They want to have a good time, so we want to make sure that there are good hotels to cater for everyone, from luxury to the flashbackers who come in. And uh, and we want to make sure that there's easy accessibility. So Sri Lanka is well connected to the globe. At the moment, it is. Most of the international airlines fly into Colombo, especially from the Middle Eastern region. They fly to Colombo. Then from Europe, there are charter operations taking place, and we need to work closely with other airlines to ensure, to convince them to come to Sri Lanka. And I've had a number of requests, from them. They're asking about, landing rights, because the landing rights could be waived off, things like that, which we need to work uh, with the civil aviation, airport aviation, so with those line agencies. So yeah, I mean, I can continue, but what's your?
Well, I mean, speaking of these new initiatives, let's talk about the Rotaract Club of University of Kelaniya and our
Sure.
latest initiative to promote lesser-known tourist attractions of Sri Lanka, EKHOS of Ceylon. So, from your vantage point as a national tourism body, what do you think of such youth-led endeavors and the potential impact of this particular initiative?
I think it's great. It's excellent. I think that these things should happen. Tourism, what happens is, actually, just take a step back. What happens is people, they come to a certain age category and then look at tourism. We should start tourism from our school days. It should start from high school. Now, it's good that you started at the university level. So it's something we. I've been talking to some people also, some decision makers. Maybe we need to get the schools involved. Educate them, and then when you go to university, it comes, as one of the key things to do. I know there are courses, but tourism, it has to come from your heart, and also it should be gender balanced. Also, there should be males and females, equal, working in the industry. So your initiative is good. It's lesser known. Identify the lesser known attractions in Sri Lanka and focus rather than. I mean, I said there are over 1,000 lesser known attractions, but it's not practical for the students to, for your project to identify all that. Pick 5 or 10, and then focus on them. Go deep into it. Look at accessibility. Look at the cost to get to there from Colombo or from one of the international airports, and see how well you can get the other locals involved in it. How the locals can promote it, because things like, not every city or every place within close proximity to the lesser known attraction will have a 5-star hotel. So you can't go and build 5-star hotels like that. There's a process for that. Maybe locals want to give a local experience like a homestay, but good quality, good standards, to the lesser known attraction. So you can look at that rather than identifying these are the lesser known attractions and just saying it. Identify, go to the next step, and how a tourist could get into this place. How we can promote on social media platforms. What is the mechanism, and you have to come up with the entire project. And what are the platforms? If you're targeting the Russians, what platforms do you go? If you're targeting Chinese tourists, okay, what is the platform? So what would attract them to this lesser known attraction? I mean, just an example is, if if you have picked a lesser known attraction related to the Ramayana trail, okay, so that the number one market would be India or Indians living in other parts of the world. And how do you do the promotion part, or how you could work with us to promote it? So you have to come up with an entire project, not just identifying. So I think it's a great thing. It's a great initiative. So I should be thankful to the Rotary Club or the Rotaract Club for the initiative, and hopefully you'll come up with a new project.
Thank you very much. And on a final note, is there any message you wish to give to the youth of this country, particularly for those who are making efforts to make a difference?
Yes, I think I said previously also, tourism has to come from your heart. It's, don't look at it as a, I mean, the biggest problem now is all these university graduates or whoever comes out, first thing they look for is how do I make money? Where is the best, who gives the best salary, and who gives all the perks. But your heart is not there, but your mind is there, because of course you have to live, right? You need to live a comfortable life, you need money, so you need a good salary, good perks. So it's good to go for that. But tourism is something that anyone can get involved in. From the youth can, especially the youth, male and female, both. I think there's a mismatch in that there are more males in the industry than females. So you should encourage more females to come as well, and to work with all the other related associations. Understand from the university level itself, and work together. And it's you have to love it's not only tourism. Whatever you do, you need to love the job too. You have to get up in the morning and think, oh, wow, I'm going to work because I love it. Of course, the salary has to be there. I mean, I'm saying to do volunteer work is also important. Actually, volunteer. Another, just to add to that, because when you're in university, you try to get involved in a lot of volunteer projects. Because I know Sri Lanka tourism also has projects, and sometimes they look for people to come and get involved in it. And globally, voluntary work is something that is well recognized. For example, the Olympics would had, or any major tennis open, in any country, would have many volunteers because they want to get involved in it. So I think volunteer tourism is another area that you need to look at. Because you might not have funds to do everything for this project. I know there are certain loan agencies would come forward, but at the same time, you get more people, involved and work on it. So I think the message to the youth is get involved in tourism. It's a great industry to be in. It doesn't matter what your income level is, because you can get into any area. If you're blessed with a property estate, then you can do agro-tourism. If you're blessed with a nice bungalow inheritance, or your board, you can get involved in promoting using your property for tourism related activities. Then if you're living closer to many attractions, you can do up a itinerary for tourists to go into these attractions. So it doesn't matter how you look at it, you can get involved in the tourism industry, male and female both. So I think the message is that you do it from your heart, and you start young, and there's you can every mistake is an opportunity, and it's not something you probably say, no, I burned my fingers, I'm going to get out. No, it's an opportunity, and you can try out, and that's the way forward. What you're doing is great.
Thank you very much. And with that, we come to the end of today's discussion. Thank you very much, Mr. Wickramasuriya, for your time. And stay tuned, because the journey of the beaten path awaits. I'm Prithvi Vijayasuri, and this is Echoes of Ceylon.
Echoes of Ceylon, reviving wonders of Sri Lanka.